are a donkey.
It's time for Donkey of the Day.
Donkey of the Day does not discriminate.
I might not have the song of the day, but I got the donkey of the day.
So if you ever feel I need to be a donkey, man, hit me with the hee-haw.
Yes, the Breakfast Club, bitches.
Who's donkey of the day today?
Well, Mr. Ed Sheeran, Donkey of the Day for Tuesday, October 10th, goes to John Skipper, president of ESPN, and Bob Iger, president of Disney. These are the big dogs at the top of the food chain at ESPN, and I would have to say that they are responsible for Jemele Hill being suspended for 2 weeks. I don't know that for sure, but they the bosses, so whatever moves ESPN makes has to be a reflection of them. Now, if you haven't heard, Jemele Hill was suspended for 2 weeks yesterday for comments she made about my beloved Dallas Cowboys. Well, actually, Jemele Hill was suspended for 2 weeks for comments she made about Donald Trump a couple weeks ago. Okay, even though the NFL cuts ESPN a big-ass check, and they probably do feel like Jemele was messing with the church's money by pissing off Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, let's be clear, this is a retroactive suspension for what she tweeted about Trump a couple weeks ago. Let's go to CNN to hear what happened.
ESPN has just released a statement saying it has just suspended the popular host Jemele Hill after a string of tweets about the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. And these tweets included, here you go, Jerry Jones also has created a problem for his players, specifically the black ones. If they don't kneel, some will see them as sellouts. She goes on, if you strongly reject what Jerry Jones said, the key is his advertisers don't place the burden squarely on the players. And then in this whole string, she later clarifies some of her comments, tweeting this: just so we're clear, I'm not advocating an NFL boycott, but an unfair burden has been put on players in Dallas and Miami with anthem directives.
Oh, ESPN President John Skipper, Bob Iger, President of Disney. This is whack. I'm only speaking from the perspective of a personality, so to me, content is king. Freedom of speech is everything. I know to you guys, corporate dollars are king, and the NFL has ESPN by the balls because of all the money they spend with y'all, so you are forced to choose corporate dollars over the consumers who watch your shows every day and the personalities who say the things that keep these consumers tuned in. But come on. You pay people like Jemele Hill for their POV, and you shouldn't keep that POV in a box. As long as the rhetoric isn't getting someone hurt or killed, let her express herself. I'm all for freedom of speech. Even if I don't agree with what you're speaking on, I will defend your right to say it. All these people she's talking about are big boys. They will be fine. Look, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. All right, Jerry Jones said he demands players stand for the anthem and respect the flag. That's his right as an owner of the team and as an American. I don't agree with it, and I pray the players rebel. But you have to know when you attempt to stifle someone's constitutional rights to protest in that manner that there is going to be backlash, okay? You have to know people are going to have an opinion about that. If Jemele Hill wants to express her freedom of speech and speak out about that, she should have every right to. That's what constitutional rights are supposed to be about. And don't hand me that I want sports broadcasters to talk about sports and not politics and social issues. Well, how can they not when the owner of the richest franchise in the NFL is giving his opinion on a social issue? How can they not talk politics when the leader of the free world is talking about the NFL? This intersectionality between sports and politics is not one-sided. In fact, your celebrity in chief, Donald Trump, tweeted at 6:42 a.m., with Jemele Hill at the mic, it is no wonder ESPN ratings have tanked. In fact, tanked so badly, it is the talk of the industry. 3 things stand out about this tweet to me. Number 1, he spelled Mike, which is short for microphone, M-I-K-E, which could have been a shot at Michael Smith, Jemele Hill's co-host on The Six. I don't either, Yee. Okay, that could have been a nice little shot to Michael, but nah, Donald isn't that smart. He just actually thinks microphone, when shortened, is spelled the same way as his vice president's first name. Number 2, a man whose presidential approval rating is plummeting as fast as Trump shouldn't be talking about anything tanking. Excuse me. Number 3, with all the things that need to be discussed in the world, why are you worried about what people are talking about in the TV industry? You are not a celebrity anymore, Donald Trump. You are the president of the United States of America, not the executive producer of the United States of America. 6:42 in the morning, with all the pressure issues going on in the world, he's tweeting about Jemele Hill and ESPN, and the powers that be at ESPN, John Skipper or whoever is in charge over there, has the nerve to tell personalities not to discuss politics. Y'all just gonna act like this isn't happening? Like we gonna turn ESPN on today and y'all not gonna discuss none of this? Well, that just lets me know ESPN is fake. It's nothing authentic about it. In fact, it's cowardly and shows how out of touch everybody in charge at ESPN is. So why are we watching ESPN? I want to tune into a network that's giving me real opinions from real people. That's what Jemele Hill represents. And if liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they don't want to hear. period. You know all of this boils down to a lack of respect for the Constitution, okay? All you Americans who claim to be so patriotic, y'all really have no respect for the Constitution. Colin Kaepernick took a knee because African Americans' constitutional rights were being violated, the injustice that African Americans are facing in this country at the hands of some police officers. Then you didn't respect Colin's constitutional right to protest and blackballed him. Now Jerry Jones is violating his players' constitutional rights by demanding they stand for the anthem. And ESPN is violating Jemele Hill's constitutional rights to freedom of speech, which is crazy to me because everybody claiming to be so American, but nobody in this situation is respecting the Constitution. John Skipper, president of ESPN, Bob Iger, president of Disney. You two need to understand that patriotism is supporting your country at all times and your government when it deserves it. Let me repeat and elaborate. Patriotism is supporting your country and the people in it at all times, especially when those people work for you, Jemele Hill, and your government when it deserves it. Your government doesn't deserve it right now, simply because they're trying to violate everyone's constitutional rights to protest, and you two now are violating Jemele Hill's freedom of speech. So please give John Skipper, president of ESPN, and Bob Iger, president of Disney, the biggest hee-haw, please.